Let's pivot now to our review of Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. I'm heading over to my little sheet here to give you the details for this one. Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings is the 25th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the MCU, which is currently in Phase 4. The film was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who also directed Just Mercy, starring... Why have I blanked on his name? Michael B. Jordan. And now lost my place on the thing. And Short Term 12, which starred Brie Larson. And from a screenplay he wrote with Dave Callahan and Andrew Lanham. Callahan has written most of the Expendables films and also did Mortal Kombat recently. And Lanham did Just Mercy, the film that Cretton directed as well. The film stars Simu Liu, who we know from Kim's Convenience, as Shang-Chi or Sean, alongside Awkwafina, who we love in Crazy Rich Asians and Raya and the Last Dragon. Menghe Zhang as Shang-Chi's sister. Oh no, I looked up how to pronounce this. I think it's Liang. Anyway, as well as Tony Chiu Wai Liang and Michelle Yao, who needs no introduction. We love her in her seminal role in Kung Fu Panda 2 as the soothsayer. Joking, Crashing Tiger, Hidden Dragon, of course. In the film, Shang-Chi is forced to confront his past when his father, Wen Wu, played by Liang, the leader of the Ten Rings organization, draws Shang-Chi and his sister Xilang, I think, into a search for a mythical village. Fan reaction has been positive for this one. The film has an IMDb rating of 7.9, a Metascore of 71, and on the Rotten Tomatoes, gents, where do we think critics landed with this one?
I'm gonna go for a straight 80.
That is the worst synopsis I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
I'd 70.
I'm gonna split the difference. You said 80, Jace?
Yep.
I'll split the difference plus 1, 76.
92% certified fresh.
Interesting.
Yes,
so close.
like I said, Maxi Geek, thanks for joining us in the chat, my friend. Yes, 25th MCU film, the first one that I'd seen in the cinemas since Endgame.
Endgame, probably.
Yeah.
Probably
Did I see
Captain Marvel?
the Captain Marvel's before Endgame? I'm just thinking, Far From Home. When did that come out? Was that during the pandemic? Was that before the pandemic?
Before.
That was before. Okay, so I'd seen Far From Home at the cinemas.
Yeah, Far From Home.
Yeah, December 2019. Thanks, Maxi Geek. So this is obviously we'd seen Black Widow on streaming services, and this is the first one that I'd seen at the cinemas. I was very delighted to go to the cinema to watch this one. I'm going to go to the era of Jason Mira first for this one. Shang-Chi. So what did you think?
It's a fresh. Well, in chat we've got Maxi Geek there. He made a point. It was like I got Jackie Chan vibes while watching it. Important to note. Bradley Allen, who's also in a lot of Jackie Chan films, ended up doing a lot of fight choreography, was the supervising stunt coordinator for this. Unfortunately, he passed away not too long ago. So that's where you get the Jackie Chan vibes. But
big grip.
Yeah, it was really interesting to watch an MCU film in the cinema, and I think I went to a shitty cinema. Because I think I'm used to watching MCU films with like big bombastic audio. The audio was a bit. If it was a trumpet, someone bought the trumpet at the Regis shop. So I think that dampened my experience a little bit.
Oh, but man, that was good.
It was.
It's like spelled trumpet.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't spell it right, else I get sued. It was a fun romp. I had a few issues with some of the green screens. There were some moments where it was just but anyway, sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself. The plot, very interesting because this is a Marvel character that I'm not familiar with at all, and I didn't do any research on what his powers were or his origin or anything like that was. It was really nice to see that unfold and kind of see where he'll eventually fit within the new MCU jigsaw puzzle. It was really interesting to see an interesting take on Chinese folklore and how that all fits into it, and all of the lore that the exposition vomited at the start of it. And like now that I know, or now that we all know what happens after Endgame, like how this will now all fit together, and like it leaves a lot of questions. What happened after the snap, and where did the 10 rings all end up and whatnot? Like how did that all happen? But yeah, watching as a fellow Asian, watching Simu Liu like on screen and watching like just all the Asian culture stuff in it. It was like, yeah, man, that's really cool to see. It's not my culture. I'm not Chinese, but it was actually no. Someone told me I was like a fifth Chinese. Anyway, sorry. It was really interesting to watch them like make the brave decision to have a lot of the dialogue in this subtitled. Which I thought was really interesting. In the cinema that I went into watching it, I watched the I watched the people in front of me, and I was like, oh man, like before the movie started, they had their phones out, they were taking pictures, watching TikToks and stuff, and I'm like, please don't be the type of audience that's gonna like start laughing or be like, oh, turn the subtitles off and that type of, But luckily it wasn't too bad. Yeah, the action sequences were pretty solid. I think watching the fights happen, unfolding and using the environment was really smart and was really cool, and a lot more like, I guess watching a lot of the MCU fight scenes, it's all about like big hits and whatnot, but knowing that this character is a martial artist, like let's just say the fight scenes were a lot better than the Iron Fist, which was supposed to be like the world's greatest martial artist. I think that's what
that's meant to be his superpower.
Yeah, anyway, I don't really know where I'm going with it. I think I just like where they ended up was really good to see. And I think I'm still kind of like umming and ahhing about a lot of the finer details, but all in all, the fights were solid. It was really cool to see a lot of Chinese actors that I love and like love watching growing up appear in this film. I didn't know Michelle Yeoh was going to be in this at all. So when she came out, I was like, oh my god, that was really cool. Yeah, and
how did it go, Jax?
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I just looked that for a second.
Someone clip that.
Yeah.
On repeat.
And I was like watching the whole thing. Shang-Chi's sister. I'm trying to figure out where I've seen her from before, and it turns out I haven't seen her in anything.
Her first feature film. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. She did a pretty excellent job, but I did have a feeling like I have a friend who's Chinese. She's female, and the whole time she's always complaining about, even though she's like older than her brother is still like the more important one because she's the girl in the family, and because there's a boy in the family, he's the more important one. So like with that in mind, watching the film unfold with like her sister being like shunned and like watching from afar, and her having to learn martial arts on her own, and even like the way that the film takes it, like she's a badass. Like I wanted to see more of her.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's like, okay, I gave her some rope, so she's distracted. We can do the real talking now about how you're going to save the day. She's playing with her rope.
Yeah.
Fine.
So, yeah, I thought that was really interesting watching unfold. The reveal of someone in this film that we had seen before, was really interesting, and I was surprised that they really leaned into that. I won't say let's allude to him, but yeah, I thought that
we
was
can talk
really
about it at the end.
Yeah. But yeah, all in all, like I feel like if you haven't seen all of the films in the MCU now, like it's a big undertaking to see. How many films in the MCU?
25.
It's impossible to find out. So
nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Like this
uncountable set.
I feel like you kind of already know the dot points, even if you haven't seen the MCU films, you kind of know the dot points of, there's Thanos and there's a thing and Infinity Stones and blah blah blah. You don't really need to know all of the lore going into this film, so I think this is a really good like onboarding like film to jump into the MCU. Because it doesn't really rely on that kind of stuff. Like
Well, it comes after the fact, and it's kind of in its own set of pacing. That's one of the things I would have mentioned, is this is essentially the best launch pad into the next, like, whatever they call
phase,
it, the phase. I think that this is probably their strongest of the second phase, or third, or whatever phase we're in, films. Even though it's not the first one, I think it's their best one so far.
It should be really interesting because I haven't heard good things about Eternal.
Yeah, it's out
It's
tomorrow.
getting pretty phase 4. Thanks Maxi Geek.
Thanks, Maxi Geek.
There was a time where I could name them all in all of the MCU movies in chronological order. That was when there was like 18 of them, and there's like 7 more movies on top of that. And but it's kind of nuts, the number of films that are out.
Anyway, Ben, Luke.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I can say, and I'm probably gonna.
That's right. Yeah, we'll get the other guys' thoughts, and we'll loop back. Ben, Luke in chat mentions 9 More Days, and you can watch it again on Disney Plus. Is this a film you will revisit, sir? Is this a film that you filleted or not?
When you say at the start of the show, when we hang on, what's the phrase?
Love like, bash,
trash
and
bash.
Bash.
Yeah.
This is a like. This was fine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I had a good time at the cinemas, but I didn't love it. I mean, I'm not going to hate on it either. But Jason took 2 of my best points for it, so all my points are going to sound very negative. I loved first of all, backing up what Jason said, loved the Cantonese with English subtitles, how they were brave enough to not treat me like an idiot, kind of thing, like with that. And the second thing has just slipped my mind, but it was right there at the end. I really enjoyed whatever that was that Jason said. Okay, now I'm just going to split some hairs here. There were some things that the only answer for the question that I posed to myself is because then there wouldn't be a cool scene, or the movie couldn't progress or whatever. So one of them is there's this magic forest that they can't. It's like a shifting maze, and nobody knows the way to the secret city at the end or whatever it is, and my question is why can't helicopters just go and fly straight to it? What's up with that? And the answer is it's a magic reason that you can't
see something like that happen. A wizard did it.
Yeah, a wizard did it. The other one, which was just similar in the same vein, which was just okay, so Sean is explaining how he was trained in every way to kill a man. I'm like, except guns, right? Nobody thought to show him how to shoot a gun. Maybe him with an assault rifle could have gotten a lot done in a lot less time in a few of these scenes where he has to instead do some real Jackie Chan shit, which is great. I'm not saying I'd rather he just pulled out a shotgun and did an Indiana Jones on everybody, where they're pop, 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 and then he's just bang and wins. But again, splitting hairs here, but still, we're in an MCU universe where guns exist, and I was just doing that in my head. It was just why doesn't anyone have guns? They're all they've got bows and crossbows and stuff.
Yeah, and they, even at the end, they had those crossbow laser things.
Yeah, and all the weapons are they've got blue glowy shit on it, just to show that this is our 10 rings evil weapon. Version of this weapon, stuff like that. Kind of weird, but whatever. That you know what? That kind of stuff takes away from the subtitled stuff. I'm being treated like an idiot. It's blue, that's the bad guy color. I'm being treated like a moron when the movie does things like that. But it's fine. It's fine. I still like the movie. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine, guys.
Okay. Okay. This annoyed me in what's the TV show with Captain America, the new Captain America and the Winter Soldier one?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier show had this thing in it. This movie has this thing in it where apparently the best thing you can do for a budding upcoming superhero is give them a fancy outfit. What's that about? With the Captain America Falcon and Winter Soldier thing, it's I need to call in a favor, and the favor is leather with sequins and colors and boots and straps, and he's gonna look Flash when he comes to save the day. It's fuck, what the fuck is that? And this one, it's your mother asked me to do this one final thing for you, and give you this gift, and I've been working on it. So, some,
Yeah.
amazing present.
And I
It's a
happen to know exactly
saddlebag
your
with-
measurements.
Yeah, it's a saddlebag with outfits that look just like ours. Now you look like a superhero. It's like, what the hell? Like, if I was those kids' mom, it'd be, a picture of me and them when they were young, or something I made for them that they can treasure forever. Instead, it's like, with these boots, you're gonna look badass when you kill your father.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, actually. When that happened, I was like, in outfits.
Yeah.
What were the outfits? I didn't get that.
Well, now, Ben, you throw insults around like this, and all of a sudden, I feel like you might be insulting Edna Mode here from The Incredibles, and just her entire line of work.
Okay,
She does valuable
stuff,
shit, all right?
Her stuff had function and as well as form. Like they
No capes.
integrated with the powers and boosted abilities and did all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But this was just like, you're gonna look just like the poster when we get through review. Anyway, the other thing I found entertaining was some chomos left at the start of the credits. The credits started to roll, and they were like,
right?
"Movie's over, guys. Let's go get an ice cream." So I don't know what's going on inside these people's
How
heads.
many movies have we been?
25, I've been told, times. And every time there's some treasure to be had at the end. This one is no different. There's treasure. Questionable treasure. I was like, what's up with that? Like, so-and-so is back, and whoa, what they're going to do with this? And, there's like talking points to be had at the end of it. It's not just like, it's not just a funny extra thing.
Yeah, it's not a Jackie Chan blooper reel. It's content.
For the most part of this movie, and this is going to be my last point, I'll throw it to Terry. For most of this movie, up until a point, I was like, this movie has no right being this good. Like, it is so good. I really was liking it. Pacing was great. The kung fu was brilliant. The action set pieces were just like coming hard and fast, and I didn't even mind that it was we're chasing the MacGuffin to reuniting with the father. We've seen these movies a bunch of times. I wasn't even thinking about any of that stuff. And then the third act happened, and the third act just completely let it down for me. I was like, there was...
Because Sharp left into Nonsense Town.
Yes, that's exactly what it did. It went straight into the kaleidoscope world of the Doctor Strange film, where it just got too much. I was just like, what is happening? We're like running in the 7th dimension or something now, and crazy shit is happening that I couldn't even make it out. Sometimes it was so much CG. That's your point, yes, about the green screening. It was like they're running on it was okay. I can't say any more without spoiling things, but the physics had no place in the third act. They rewrote physics for the third act, and they also had like all these fake animal creatures, which did not believe at all that any of these things were even close to real. Like they would. I was just like, that's a drawing of a thing. I'm not here anymore. I wasn't there in the movie.
The four-wheel drives that the bad guys were driving were also horribly CG done.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The way they were like skidding to a halt in the grass. It was like both. I watched this at the cinemas with my mate Tim, and we both were like, ugh, at the same time. And I'm like, the cars? He's like, yeah, the cars. So yeah, terrible.
So some of the CG was actually really cool. There was a lot of water CG. That was like, wow, that looks amazing.
It's like they put all of their money into this part of the movie, and then like, we didn't save enough money for the other part of the movie. No one will notice.
Yeah, I feel like it was actually the opposite. I feel like they were like, we're going to have to just make a really good movie for the first 2 acts, because all the money is in the third act, where everything is CG and unbelievable and stuff. Like, there's a point where it's just there's too much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
On the screen for me to see what's going on anymore, or for me to believe it anymore. And the first 2 acts is like, we need really great practical effects and really cool set design and really cool action and fight choreography, which we're going to have sounds of. And then the last act, they're going to be throwing fireballs. They're going to be throwing rope dagger things. I'm sure that has kung fu fans have a name for that. But the rope thing is going to like tie a knot when it hits the end, and it's going to whip things when it hits them, and stuff like that.
It also turned into like Scorpion's rope. That thing just did not have like a finite end. That thing just kept going.
Yeah, when it comes back, you see her like carrying it like coiled up over her shoulder. God, this thing is so long and heavy.
It's precisely as long as you need it to be, like Indiana Jones's whip.
It's like I can measure the depth of an ocean with this rope. I can just like lower the thing with the weight on it until it gets to the bottom.
It's like the wizard's handkerchief out of the sleeve. It just keeps going, and then you just stuff it back in.
Other than that, it's the movie did a good job of making fun of itself, so I didn't have to and I just learned how to shoot a bow and arrow just that day, and it's like all the things that I was thinking. It's like, yes, that's what I was thinking too. That kind of stuff where it's kind of poking fun at itself. I really like that. But yeah, that third act, man, it took me on this slippery slide that I didn't want to. I was like, no, I was on the swings. Now I don't want to go on this crazy roller coaster all of a sudden. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Liked it, didn't love it.
Terry.
So I saw this film hot on the heels of watching Free Guy the night before. And I got to see it at the cinemas, thankfully, which was really, really good. But those were the first two movies I'd seen at the cinemas in ages. And so I was riding a pretty comedic high from Free Guy coming into this. And I got to see it on a double date. It was Tim and his wife, Annie, my wife, Jen, and myself in the cinema. And it was just delightful to watch a movie. Like Ben said, the first 2/3 of the film, absolutely phenomenal. The practical effects, the bus scene, like that whole fight unfolding is really, really awesome. And it's kind of where you first see him, Sean, the adult him, in action. And the dude, he's a specimen. I've said this before, I am straight as an arrow, but that dude,
I'm asking questions about myself.
I would love to have dinner with that guy, just to like have dinner with the guy.
No question for me. I know the answer. I'd jump him.
Phenomenal first 2/3 of the film. I agree. I love the laughs per minute. I love Aquafina in this. I love her in Crazy Rich Asians. Like she's so ridiculous, but she fits in with this slowly getting more ridiculous world that's unfolding in the film as well. But yeah, definitely on board for the ride. Loved watching it in the cinemas with people that were laughing their butts off alongside me. And I felt like it struck a nice balance between serious and silly. So when you got to the scenes where the characters' complex familial history kind of unfolding starts to happen, it does slow down. It takes its time, and you do feel, I understand why he's angry. I understand why he was on board for this particular thing, because I would be angry too. And that stuff that he's carrying with him, like this guilt and anguish and rage, it's like, for when those things were happening, I was there for it, because it wasn't like, to compare it to Thor Ragnarok was way more laughs per minute, and it couldn't afford to do things more seriously, because it would have been immediately undermined by some type of silly slapstick, something that unfolds immediately after, with obviously a few exceptions at the beginning with Odin and stuff like that. This film seemed to blend throughout the film that silly, serious balance, and I think that they carried it off fairly well. And it's been said that the fight choreography, like when that whole scene on the side of the building with the bamboo scaffolding, I'm sure we've all seen Jackie Chan films where that has
totally
been
Rush Hour
the
2.
scene. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, but I'm sure even like some of the actual, like, Rush Hour 2's a Hollywood film. I'm sure I've seen other films, maybe not a Jackie Chan film, where there's been like bamboo scaffolding and fight scenes playing out and like tools flying and all sorts of things. It was really, really well done. I liked the I forget, he's a comedian. He's the guy that greets them on Ronnie Chang on the elevator. Loved his character in this film as well.
I was a bit sad that he wasn't in it much.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like him in small doses. The character he plays in Crazy Rich Asians probably set that up, because he's such a dick in that film. But yeah, it was nice to see all of the faces that we saw. I don't think there's much else that I would want to add that hasn't been said.
The thing that you said, Terry, about the character progression was definitely worth noting. Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
this is a great character arc for
Yeah,
Shang-Chi. Like really, really great. Like the confronting his inner demons, confronting his father,
Yeah.
all of that. Really,
Yeah.
really great stuff.
Yeah.
For
And it
a
wasn't cheap.
Marvel film.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap. They'd established it well enough as the film went on, and the fact that it was he's is living a secret life, and Aquafina is like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "It's complicated." I do like the little scene on the airplane. Where,
I was going to mention that.
okay,
No, it's fine.
I'll
No,
leave it. It's
you
a
can
great
say.
it's a great little scene where he tells her his real name is Shang-Chi, and she's like, "So wait, when you were like, I need a different name,
I'm going to go into hiding.
I'm going to go into hiding. I need a different name." So I went with Sean, which is basically the exact same name.
Amazing.
Yeah. I want a looper when he says that, Batman. Oh, a blooper. Yeah. I don't know. The last sequence, it was comparing it to Age of Ultron. That scene where they're in like the bell tower and you could freeze frame at any moment, and there's like each character is involved in its own little skirmish, but it's clearly there. So wherever it is that you're looking on the screen, if you're paying attention, you would be seeing something happen. And so you could rewatch it, pay attention to a different section of the screen, you'll see a different character doing a different thing, and some of them are interacting with one another. Brilliant little sequence. That is completely absent from this final crescendo of a scene. There's just so much mess and so much noise happening on screen that I don't think I want to watch that scene again. I think I just want to re-watch that first 2/3 of the film again, and then be like, and now I know hot mess of CGI vomit happens afterwards, and we all learn a valuable lesson, and power and responsibility and all of that sort of noise.
Do you guys remember that he takes a punch to like the midsection that sends him into the water, but still, like, he takes a punch that should transform him into mist. Like, he's still a person with
He
bones
is still a person
and organs and stuff, and after that punch he shouldn't be anymore. Like, that is
he should be
nuts.
paced.
That's like punch a hole in the side of a building kind of force, and he takes all of it into the squishiest part of his midsection.
He was wearing dragon scale armor though.
That's true. It's true. It's got you there.
The G-forces just being...
Yeah, no, I agree.
He goes from 0 to 1,000,000 kilometers
Yeah.
an hour. Like, oh boy.
I mean, that's true. Like so many, not just Marvel, but action films, right? Like, Rhodey should have been dead in Civil War. You know, falling out of the sky like that as well.
Yep.
Like, in fact, when he turned up, you know, in hospital, I'm like, well, hang on, didn't we just watch him die? Wasn't that the scene that we just saw?
Is that not what we just watched?
Yeah.
The Superman catching Lois Lane right at the last second. I'm like, that's not how G-forces work. It's like you would, your arms, she would be in 3 pieces.
What about the Matrix Reloaded when he catches carrying
freaking
at the speed of light. She like falls into his razor blade arms, just crushing to the ground. Oh, good! I didn't hit the solid ground. I hit your Mach 3 face.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, Maxi in chat. There are physics and there are Hollywood physics. Yeah,
precisely.
100%.
And they have like a snooze button. It's like a suspend reality, and they just press it and unpress it as needed.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I'm just trying to think how I can collect my thoughts. I think this is. I would entertain the argument that this is the best origin film in the MCU as well. For all the points that you guys bring up.
Yeah.
I think because I think back to Doctor Strange, and we criticize that for just being a straight rip of Iron Man 1 again, with different characters and just in a different flavor. Whereas this this felt to your point, like just really real and true. I love Aquafina's character being like the human anchor to this whole thing as well. And I think Maxi mentioned in the chat as well that she's dialed down a bit compared to her other roles, which I appreciated also. But she did bring that human element. I like a lot of the, Shang-Chi's story arc is centered around their friendship also.
Yeah.
And
and I love that there was...
Yeah. Platonic,
No,
not romantic, yeah.
Yeah, no kiss at the end. Oh, so good.
Yeah, hallelujah. I like how what you said, Jason, like everything about Asian culture resonated with me. Again, also not Chinese heritage, but could appreciate the small things that are common across a lot of Asian cultures, like, removing your shoes before you enter the house and that sort of thing. Like just like small little touch points that I was just like, I really appreciate that. And yeah, like this, coming away from this film got me thinking about an article that I read after Crazy Rich Asians had released about the importance of attractive Asian men in big Hollywood productions like this. And it is something I wasn't like, I couldn't pinpoint exactly coming out of Crazy Rich Asians what I felt, but this article like nailed it on the nose. It was like, oh, this is exactly how I'm feeling right now, because we don't see Asian men, attractive Asian men spotlighted in a way like we've just seen in Shang-Chi and Crazy Rich Asians, where there are scenes like there's a whole like cinematic shot of just like a very attractive Asian man in a shower with water just trickling down his body. Like, name another movie where you see that. It doesn't happen. And the same thing here with Simu Liu, like he's shirtless, and even Aquafina's just like, oh, hello, what's going on here? I'm thinking feelings are starting to erupt inside me. Like it reminded me of that article, and so I think it's done really, really well for, I suppose, Asian representation in a meaningful way. So appreciate it for that. I'll echo everything you guys said about the action as well, like the bus scene, side of the building with the bamboo scaffolding. I could watch them over and over again, and I'm looking forward to watching it again once it releases on Disney Plus. I don't think I feel too. I wouldn't say I align completely with the third act. I think it definitely is weaker, and I think once you introduce the slapstick character that we won't name back into the MCU that we haven't seen in almost a decade at this point, that's when I was like, what are you trying to do here? And he's kind of just used as a plot device to get to the silliness, to get to the fantastical. And
he does deliver a very funny line towards the end.
He does, yeah. He has his moments, but I think mostly miss. Sorry.
He's the token white guy.
What's his face in Black?
Oh, the guy that plays Bilbo Baggins in the Fantastic Journey.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman.
So he's again just there as a plot device, and the humor is meant to distract from the fact that yes, we're going to crazy town in this insane world of psychedelics like you described, Ben. But I did feel as though like all of that budget was saved for that third act, right? Like there was a couple of moments, particularly in the first 10-15 minutes, where I'm thinking, what is going on with this CG? Like there was one particular moment where a carriage falls over. It's like it's going through the history of the Ten Rings organization, and a carriage falls over and gold topples towards the camera, and it is so bad. There's one moment where a car goes over a cliff above a forest, and it is ridiculously fake. That when we get to the third act and we see giant mythical creatures and water everywhere, I'm like, okay, this is where the budget for this film went.
And the creature designs just look so cool.
Yeah, they were cool. And
I will say, big line things.
Yeah, they were all the Chinese lines. I love the action around the rings itself as well. Like that final confrontation between Simu Liu and his father. I thought that was really well done. Just like the way that they were being used in a sort of action choreography sense. Also, I came away very positive with this film. I wanted to watch it like again immediately, so looking forward to watching it again, and needed a feel of Aquafina, so that night I watched Raya and the Last Dragon again on Disney Plus just to get a bit more of her. It's not fantastic, but it's worth watching.
Okay, she's really funny in it.
She's great.
Craziest voice. It's so funny.
It is
so unique.
Yeah, very.
Maxi Geek, the action in the movie also makes the fact that Marvel heroes / villains punching people make sense. Right. Yeah. Any final thoughts, gents, before we wrap this one up?
the bad guys, the lieutenants, I guess you want to call them. The one with the mask, the one that looked completely different to everyone else.
Yeah. The one that was basically like a Chinese harlequin.
Yeah, didn't really get that much. Like, it's like, why was he there? Was he a lieutenant? Was he the guy with the
Kind of like a Captain Phasma kind of deal, right?
Yeah, yeah, very similar to Phasma, except Phasma had speaking roles that were badass.
Yeah, and the guy with the machete for the arm.
Yeah, where did the machete go when he wasn't using it? By the way,
what, back into his arm? Who knows? Whenever you see something like that happens, Ben, a wizard.
Yeah, okay. So it acts as the bone, like for his arm, and then when it comes out,
when it's out, it's like floppy. He just kind of whips it around.
Does anybody know who played the mask guy? The guy with the mask who didn't
just
speak?
looking now.
I'm
not sure I don't remember seeing it credited.
His name is Wen Wu, apparently.
Oh, all right.
Right.
I thought it might have been like I don't know, like a Donnie Yen or something like a.
Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Fingers crossed Donnie Yen makes an appearance in MCU.
Oh, can you imagine? I'm still waiting for the Donnie Yen Sleeping Dogs film.
Oh, is that happening? Yeah, right.
Apparently he was attached to it.
There you go.
I just want to see more Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen's supposed to be in John Wick 4.
Well, there we go. We'll wrap it up there. Shang-Chi, mostly, well, all thumbs up, just to different extents on this panel. So go and check it out yourself. It's still in cinemas, but like was mentioned in chat, it will be available in Disney Plus very soon, so you can watch it for yourself. Though I must say, very, very good to be back in a cinema. Though, Cinema 6 at Hoyt's Arena had a sound bug the whole way through. Very fuzzy. Was not pleased. And they were just like, yeah, we know. Just like, just not sure what the issue is. I'm like, why are you still showing films in this cinema?
Why are you letting people sit there?
Why are you still charging for anyway?
Yeah.
So,
watching Tenet would be a nightmare in that thing.
At least warn people. Guys, just FYI, the session that you've asked for, you won't be able to hear much, or the sounds kind of suck.
It was just like a constant, like electrical fuzz.
Yeah,
just
like that kind of.
I'm glad you brought it to their attention, Shane. I bring that to.
I did. Yes, I went up to the usher once the film after the post credit scene, and told them, and that's where she was just like, yeah, no, we know. It's just like not sure how to. Anyway, so forewarning, Hoyt's Arena, Cinema 6, avoid. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here with our end games. These are games we like to play at the end of the show. We're going to give you two. We gave you two film quotes. You can try and guess which films they're from. I'm going to the era of Jason Mira for movie quote number 1.
Oh, balls. Where was it again? Okay.
Balls.
Remember, all I'm offering you is the truth, nothing more.
This is.
Can I get another quote, please? Because the other two know it.
I'm already on it.
Okay.
From the same character, the body cannot live without the mind.
Oh, Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix.
Yeah.
Got it.
The question is, what is The Matrix?
And quote number 2. Here we go, gents.
Okay, here we go. Finally.
Ben, I would like for you to hold off just to see where these guys, because you know now essentially. Anyway, here we go. No amount of money ever bought a second of time. If you can't get it, I'm going to give you the 2 lines preceding the quote that sets up the quote, and then hopefully that gives it away.
Okay. Go.
Oh, okay, you don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Here we go. So it's a interaction between two characters.
Maxi Geek knows the answer, by the way.
Nice. Proud of you, Luke. Here we go. He did drop the occasional pearl, such as no amount of money ever bought a second of time.
Not the occasional pearl.
So it's talking about someone else who gave him that advice.
Do you know the exact scene now, Ben?
This is.
Do you know the exact scene this is from now?
Oh, is this Tony?
Ocean's 11?
No, this is Tony Stark talking with someone about his dad, right?
This is correct. It's Tony Stark in Endgame talking to his own father about his father.
That's it.
Talking talking to
That
Howard
has been
Stark.
eating me for 2.5 days. I was like, is it about time? Oh, and you're like, time features pretty strongly. I'm like, well, that doesn't
That's a
fucking
good
narrow it down, but it does.
That's great.
Ugh.
I knew it was RDJ saying it, and I knew it was about his dad character kind of wisdom that he was passing along to somebody, and I guessed Civil War, and then I guessed the Judge, and I kind of went backwards.
Yeah.
Mm.
Then you guess Age of Ultron, I think. Anyway. Yeah. What a great quote.
That's so
No amount of
frustrating.
money ever bought a second of time. Wisdom
Yeah.
from Howard Stark. Anyway, and the other game we like to play is 6 Degrees. We gave you 2 actors. You need to try and link them via
Yes, who are they now?
actors
Rachel
they've started
Weisz.
Rachel
alongside.
Weisz.
And Matt Damon.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do
Okay.
it. Let's do it. We can do this.
So Vice is in.
Yeah, I'm gonna need help with the Vice.
Okay, no, we did it.
All right,
I did it.
she's in Enemy at the Gates with Jude Law and oh gosh, the guy.
Isn't Rachel Weisz in the Bourne movie with Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she
Yeah.
is too. That's
There you
Bourne Legacy.
Oh crap! Now you can go like to another guy in that.
Who was in the Bourne Legacy? What's her face? What's her face? The CIA director. She's in that one. What's her name?
Langley? Not Langley.
yeah.
That's the CIA headquarters.
Isn't Alicia Vikander the person in that one?
Yeah,
she is in that one, but I'm thinking about
Fun fact: Rachel Weisz and Alicia Vikander are also in a movie called Light Between
Live
Two
Between the Oceans.
Oceans. Light Between Two Oceans.
Oh, Luke has a
Right.
solution in
The
chat.
ocean.
Luke, let us know. We need the names, guys. We need the names. That's the only way.
Yeah. Okay.
Max Geek, we also try to do this without looking at IMDb.
Hey.
Oh.
Oh, he's gone Rachel
Okay.
Weisz via the Mummy to Brendan Fraser, and then it's
Yeah.
going to be Brendan Fraser to. Has Brendan Fraser and Matt Damon done stuff together? Thank you very much.
Doom
Patrol, Timothy Dalton. Okay.
I've never heard of
Patrol,
Doom
the TV
Patrol.
show or the movie?
If
I
it's
don't
a
know. Whoa. Okay. Dalton.
okay,
Chuck.
that's Chuck's TV. We don't go via TV shows,
Oh, it's Chuck T. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No TV.
Yeah, no
and
TV
also
shows.
no Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, we don't use TV. And we don't use MCU.
We
Max
just
Geek.
decided that MCU just
MCU makes it too easy.
It's too easy.
Yeah.
it's a cesspool of
It's off
every
for us.
actor.
Exactly.
Mad.
Yeah.
Just like,
Never
well,
mind.
this guy in Infinity War.
No, that's all good. You got there in
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sorry, I should explain the
5
rule each time.
degrees.
I should
You
explain
gotta
the rules
have
each time.
Yeah.
one of those keyboard shortcuts.
I need the commands. Yes, I shall
Yeah.
create
Mm.
that. Definitely.
Right, but
So-
interesting.
Okay, so Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz with that Light Between the Oceans movie. There's Alicia Vikander, as I already said, and there's freaking
Is it Fassbender?
Fassbender. Yeah, it's
Fassbender.
Fassbender.
I think that's why they met, so they could get married.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so what about
Matt Damon.
Fassbender and Matt Damon.
so Vikander's in Ex Machina with Donald Gleason and what's his face?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Soon to be Solid Snake.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, hang on.
Matt Damon is in the Bourne movies. He is in, and you've got Brian Cox. You've got gosh, the
What's
guy
funny about
from-
Brian Cox?
he has the name Cox in his name. That's why he's a 5-year-old. You've got
Weird.
Brian Cox. You've also got in the first one the do you get the headaches? What's the guy? He's
Clive
in
Owen. Clive Owen.
Clive Owen. I always forget his name. I don't know why. Clive Owen. Clive Owen's in stuff with people elsewhere.
Great. You got Carl Urban in the second one,
Yeah, Carl Urban.
and the Oscar Isaac clone in the third one. Ramirez is his name. What's his first name? What's his first name?
Not sure.
You know the guy who at the end he says, "Look what they make you give," and
Yeah,
doesn't
look
take-
what they make you
take-
give.
Doesn't take the shot at the end.
Yeah.
Nothing?
Rachel
I
Weisz.
don't know his name.
I
No.
can't think of it.
He's also in Interstellar. He's in The
Yes.
Martian. Big names there.
He's in
Oh.
that. He's in a little movie called Saving Private Ryan.
This is true.
There's many actors in that one.
Vin Diesel's in that.
Can we name Rachel Weisz films again, please?
So Mummy Returns, behind not behind enemy lines, Enemy at the Gates,
Enemy Gates had Jude Law.
between I said that Jude Law. It also had
Jude Law and Matt Damon. That's got to be
the
something
German
there.
sniper.
Yeah.
About Jude
But
Law.
also the
Jude Law to
the typist.
Jude Law to anyone in the Ocean's films, surely.
Oh yeah, the German sniper. What's his
Harris.
name?
Ed Harris.
Yeah, Ed Harris. That's
Yeah.
it.
Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. and Rachel Weisz being in the same film.
Yeah, but then you're just going Jude Law to Rachel Weisz again. We need to get to Matt Damon.
Enemy at the Gates. Surely she's been in more films.
She is. She's definitely been.
Has
in
Rachel
other
Weisz
films.
been with Clooney somewhere?
I'm pretty sure she was in a rom-com, wasn't she?
Runaway Jury.
Maybe.
Anyone remember Runaway Jury?
She's in Runaway Jury with John Cusack.
John Cusack and Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Right.
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman.
Hackman.
Well, hang on, Gene Hackman is in the Enemy of the State with Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Shit, who else was in that film? The guy that gets totaled by the fire truck.
Yikes.
Oh, gosh.
Matt Damon's in Downsizing with Christoph Waltz and Kristen Wiig.
He's also in Suburbicon.
Hail Caesar.
Suburbicon, yeah.
Hail Caesar with Clooney.
Channing Tatum.
Oceans with Clooney as well.
Yeah. Oh gosh, why are we?
Yeah, why is this a struggle? It should be easy. I don't know Rachel Weisz films. That's a problem. I don't know.
Oh, I was gonna say
was that in
the
chat,
Scarlet
guys?
Witch, but not the Scarlet Witch, the Black Widow.
Widow.
But we can't use MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Rachel Weisz plays the mum in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she does too. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna focus on Jude Law for now. Just letting you guys know. So
Jude
how?
Law was in
So
AI.
Jude Law is in. Oh my goodness, is he in that?
Jude Law's in The Holiday.
The Holiday, yeah.
With Cameron Diaz and Jack
Cameron
Black.
Diaz, Jack Black.
And who's the other female lead in that one?
He was also in Alfie with Sienna Miller. If that help.
He's in that movie with Matt Damon.
Oh, hang on, Jude. Okay, this is going to be long, but surely we can get it from this. Jude Law's in Grand Budapest.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, he is. It's the journalist.
Surely Matt Damon with someone in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah. Well, you've got Jeff
Owen
Goldblum.
Wilson.
You've got Owen Wilson. You've got oh
Bill
gosh,
Murray.
he does the awesome
Ray Fiennes.
way back. The water park guy in the way back. Why am I forgetting his name?
Edward Norton.
Ed Norton.
No, it's not Ed Norton.
Is it? Isn't it?
You think
I'm
it's
sure
Sam
he's
Rockwell?
in
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. That's
Sam-
what I meant.
I don't think
Not
Sam
Ed Norton.
Rockwell's in
He's
Grand
not in
Budapest.
Grand
Grand-
Budapest.
Is he not?
I think
No.
so.
Who am I
Jeff-
thinking of?
Jeff Goldblum's in Grand Budapest. Same with
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
And what's
Adrian
her name?
Brody.
What's her name? Redhead.
the Brody.
She always plays a villain. because-
Leah Seydoux.
No. She plays the super old lady who dies.
Tilda Swinton.
Oh, Tilda
Yeah,
Swinton.
Tilda Swinton. That's it.
Tilda Swinton, and I'm sure they've been in the same film.
Maxi Geek,
Maxi,
lay it on
coming
us.
with clutch. Jesus, we're going to be here all night.
Save the day.
Tilda Swinton and Rachel Weisz. Yeah, maybe. It's Rachel Weisz in the
Tilda
Beach.
Swinton, Matt Damon's what we want.
Oh, sorry.
Tilda Swinton was in Snowpiercer with Chris Evans.
Jude Law was in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which is Heath Ledger's last film. Also has
Yeah.
Johnny Depp. And who was the other actor that played the
Christian
Doctor?
Bale?
It was Heath Ledger, Johnny Depp, Jude Law, and there was another actor who played.
Oh. I'm not sure.
Anyway,
Well, didn't Heath Ledger play some of it as well?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like it was Heath Ledger, Jude Law, Johnny
Which one's
Depp.
my
and there was
Remind me,
another
Brendan
actor.
Fraser.
Encino Man.
Encino Man. Sean Austin, Courage Under Fire, Matt Damon. Okay.
Thanks. Going obscure here.
I haven't
Encino Man is an
Encino Man.
old film.
never heard of Courage Under
That's
Fire.
got Pauly Shore in it.
It does
Dude.
have Pauly Shore in it.
Bravo, Luke.
Gonzagas.
Bravo. Claps,
Well done.
Yeah,
claps for Luke and
save
Jack.
the day. Yep.
Well done, sir.
Oh,
Poggers.
tearing me apart.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna think of my own solution in bed tonight. That kills
Yeah.
me that we can't come up with one. Anyway,
Yeah.
I
that's
too will be
Yikes.
thinking of Rachel Weisz.
So then
that was a Movie Magic Show for Wednesday, the 3rd of November. Don't forget you can watch us here live every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, twitch.tv/magic_cast. Catch our past episodes on my YouTube channel, Magic Cast, one word, on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, @Movie Magic Show. We'll tell you when we go live, and we'll tell you which films we're going to be reviewing. Next week, we shall be reviewing... What did we say?
Dressmaker.
Dressmaker.
Yeah.
Dressmaker. And
What about... I was going to say Aliens.
I was going to say Eternals, just because I want to go to the
watch
cinemas.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
What's the
I
meta
don't
score on
know
that right
MCU,
now?
guys.
Yeah,
It is another MCU.
Right. Okay.
It's
weekly
it's
MCU
the
films now.
it's the we swore never to intervene, but now we will for
Oh my
situations that aren't as
God.
bad as Thanos.
I just saw the meta score
Okay,
for
should be a fun
Wow.
episode next week, and we will do Aliens,
Oh.
Terry. Yes, let's do Aliens, and let's do
Ooh.
Labor Day
Aliens.
soon as well.
Nice.
Thank you to chat for joining us, Luke. Thank you for your help with the solutions.
Yeah,
there
thanks
at
for the
end.
contributions.
I want to
Thanks,
thank
Swiggy, for protecting the cats.
I want to thank Mr. Movies Ben Stapleton.
Hot blast, Shane. Hot blast.
I want to thank the dulcet tones of Terry Fear,
Always a pleasure. Thank you, lads.
and I want to thank the ear of Jason Mira. I hope you had a fun blast as well, viewers. Until next time, Elijah.
Elijah.